What it is, guys, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you with another Danmachi video, not Dokkan Battle. I'll get it right this time, I promise. And we're going to talk today about Wargames, because Wargame is back. Okay? Now, this is not the familiar Wargame, this is the old Wargame that we know and love. And frankly, I built, with the help of some of the guys in our Familia, a really superior team in Familia Wargames to anything I had prior. In fact, I'm going to do a couple of changes here on this team for what I've got currently going on. Now, first things first. With Wargame, if you've got Argonaut and you've got Krazo, they're going to kind of be your mainstays. You always want to make sure they're on there. And the main reason I say that is because just simply what they do. Okay? If we go look at Krazo first of all. So, Krazo's effects, first of all, hold up, let's go back to that. A triple S strength stat on look at that. 4k HP plus all the other boosts he gets. Insane. Insane. Triple S stat plus 350. I mean, dude is absolutely bonkers. I mean, crazy. You never see triple S stats, right? Now, if I go into status here and I go down, as you know, the one thing we're going to be looking for is we're going to look to make sure he does Jolts first. And then after Jolts, I want him to come down and do Vortex Flames. Okay? The main reason I'm going to do that is because basically what that does is that keeps all buffs on all of our units in play for the rest of the game. For as long as he hits Vortex Flame, he's going to keep doing that. But we definitely want to get Jolts off first and foremost. Okay? To do that, if I go back here, what we're going to do is we're going to set this little setting up here, okay? Right above his head, just to make sure you see it, just above everyone's head, you'll see where it says buff, attack all, debuff, buff. He's going to be set to debuff. If I click on it, it'll give me the option to set either balanced or whatever. I want him to set to debuff because the main thing I need him to do is when he goes in here, I want him to debuff the opponent. I want him to do the, because it's a fast attack too, and he has a lot of agility, so it's usually the first thing he gets off. Hopefully it's the first thing that even hits the ground running, but physical and strength, magic, and agility minus 30% for 2 turns is unbelievable. You definitely want that, okay? Also, one other thing to make sure is that you've got his weapon on him and a really good, I use breastplate just because it has that 15% guard rate. Now that there's a lot of guard penetration in the game, that may or may not be good. I might change that. I might do a swift armor later on, but we'll see what happens with it. Okay, I'm gonna see how it plays out. Now, if we go over here to Argonaut, same basic thing. Those stats are off the damn chain. Okay, need to make sure he has his weapon, have a really good breastplate, and we need to have him set to buff. Because with Hero Rising, he does low fire physical attack and self-strength and fire damage plus 50% for 4 turns. Okay? The reason we want to do that is if we go back out here, let's talk about assists. Now, the assist I have on him is Orna. And Orna, you'll see her agility is a double S stat. I actually may change it, and I might put Orna on Krazo. Only because, but the biggest reason that I have her on Argonaut is because of what she does. Okay, physical and magic resist minus 15%, self-counter and guard rate plus 30%. Now, why is that important? Well, that counter rate is insane. That guard rate is on the chain, off the chain too, but if I go down here to Will of Fire, when countering and attacking, regular physical attack a foe with fire element. So since he does his fire buff, that extra fire attack is going to be absolutely spectacular. It's what you want. 100%, no questions asked. Plus his counter damage is plus 50%. Now, Krazo, on the other hand, if I go over here, he does something similar. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. Will of Fire. His critical rate is plus 10%, but when countering and attacking regular physical attack with a foe with fire element, but he doesn't get that same fire assistance that Argonaut does. So for me, I think Argonaut getting that fire assistance with all the buffs and debuffs that we're putting on everybody is really, really important. So for me, Argonaut gets that. Now for Crosso, I have the Artemis on here, the Artemis Assist. And if you'll notice, her agility's not that good, sadly, but I think I can work on that. I need to increase her CP levels. Self-strength 20%, ally strength 15%. So, in other words, she gives 20% basically damage assistance to Crosso. She is absolutely nuts. So, for me, as much as I want Crosso to get his, to do his thing first, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say I'm pretty comfortable with the fact that while Argonaut does have more agility, and we really want more agility on Crosso, I'm pretty comfortable with how this is going down. I think this team is absolutely spectacular. So, next we'll talk about Chloe. Now, you guys know I've been questing for Chloe for an extremely long time, and she has not been dropping. I think it's just going to come down to the fact I'm going to have to drop bonds on her. There's just no way it's going to work any other way. It's just, she's simply not paying out. So, I think she's just going to become a long-term Prism Bond investment for me. Now, why do I have her on this team? Well, because if you have her, you want to run her. Flash trick. Fast, mid, light, physical attack, allies, 50% null physical attack, except special arts. Basically, my understanding is the way this works, it's like a roll. It's basically a flip of a coin more than a roll of die. It's a 50-50 chance for her to null one physical attack. Now that is per character. So every single character flips a coin, heads or tails determines whether they're actually getting that physical attack nullification or not. Now, what's really fun about that, if I go out here, now you'll notice that her stats really aren't all that great, but her health is off the chain still. That's because I've got so much hero ascension on her, and I'm about to finish her off. So, really, really happy with that, but I really need 3 more bonds in her. And if she doesn't start paying out, I'm probably going to lose my damn mind. But I have actually her Chloe Assist on her. The reason I have the Chloe Assist on her is because her strength is pretty insane, and that Chloe is a physical unit, and they complement each other so well. No physical attacks ×2, exception of special arts. The other one won't do special arts either, but we should never let the opponent get to special arts. If you have this Chloe Assist and you don't have her MLB shield, still does nullification of one physical attack, but she's still way worth using. Now, there is some question as to whether, depending on how hardy your team is, whether keeping her on clutch and coming in at the end and nullifying all those attacks after the buffs have taken place, whether that's worthwhile. For me, since I've got the other Chloe to nullify attacks, that's 2 turns that I've got for her to get those attacks out and start flipping that coin and start getting lucky on some of these dudes. Not rephrasing that, but she's spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. If you have her, fantastic unit to have. If you do not have her, since you already have a debuffer and a buffer, another good solution that I have often put on my teams, if you've got her once again, is, let's go back out here. And once again, per usual, I've got some good effects on her. Part of the reason she has so much health, let's go back into her for a second, is because I'm using the Glorious Armor. And if you're not familiar with how the Glorious Armor works, Glorious Armor adds HP. Now, I'm going to have to rehammer mine a few times. We talked about rehammering last night, and I've talked about it in the video when I discussed everything there is to know about equipment. But this armor could do up to 500 HP in total, and the defense really could get a little buff too. I think it goes up to 240. So, I'm still working on this armor. I'm hoping to get a little bit more out of it. And interestingly enough, let's go back to change equipment and go to weapon. Behemoth Dagger. Now this I'm pretty sure is gone. I don't know if these will ever come back. If we get the 2017 summer event back, there's an outside chance we might get this at the anniversary. But if you've got the Behemoth weapons from when they were around not terribly long ago, good on you. So as you can see, this does 200 health. I can rehammer that up to 500 once again. Gotta get stupid lucky on it. It'll take forever, but do the math on that. Her armor and her equipment will add 1,000 HP. Now, I think she does have a dedicated weapon. I don't think I've crafted it yet, but if I'm honest, this is because she's not MLB. This is helping her keep her alive. So strategies, guys. You got to really think strategy in all of this because that health helps her out immensely. Eventually, I would like to have glorious armor for everybody on this team, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, finally, I'm going to talk about Osvi and why Osvi's here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. I was going to talk about a replacement for her. So on this particular team, a unit that actually I ran for an extremely long time that is awesome on this team is... let's go ahead and do this by physical attack and by 4 stars only. I don't remember what her element is. So you could throw a lot of attack units on here at this point. Fire units wouldn't be a bad choice, all things considered. For me, if I were to choose another unit on here and I had her in a little better state than what she is, mine's only +1, this Artemis is a great unit to add to this team because if I go down here, fast, low, light attack removes all magic buffs and assist skills. This one right here, Pristine Presence. Strength 35% and counter rate 20% for 4 turns. All allies. So everybody's hitting harder. Everybody's going ham. Unfortunately, mine is not MLB'd. I wish she was. This doesn't get any better, sadly, but her stats will be spectacular. Just wonderful. And she just lets these two go completely crazy. We already have strength buffs on them. Remember, the strength buffs that your assists give you and your strength buffs that your adventure units give you, those do stack. Now, multiple assists that give you strength buffs will not stack. Multiple adventures that give you strength buffs will not stack. But if I threw her on this team, she would just be causing Argonaut and Crozo to wreck house. The problem is she's kind of squishy, so you got to be careful about that. But I really think she's a huge asset to this team. Okay. Finally, I've got Osvi on here. Now, Osvi is one of several units that I usually choose for this. Osvi, the main reason that I have her on here is because Vanishing Shroud. I've got her set to do that predominantly. Fast damage received. All targets decreases by 33%. Since we are in war games, your main goal is to do attack all attacks. So basically the way you can verify that is if you go up here, when you see an attack, it says foes, that's an attack all attack. Foes singular is single attacks. Okay? So what she does is she decreases the amount of damage done by all AoE incoming attacks. Okay? Plus, she also increases heal and counter rate, and that's really, really important. So I've got her set to buff the team. So she'll do that, then she'll do that, and she really never honestly attacks because she doesn't get the opportunity, but that counter rate is going to be really important because as she increases that counter rate, remember, that stacks. So the 30 on her plus the assist skill that gives me 30 on Crozo is going to increase Crozo's counterattacking like freaking crazy. So pretty straightforward right there. Another reason that Chloe wouldn't be a bad idea, or Argonaut would be a bad idea for the replacement of Chloe. That said, though, what Chloe's doing is Chloe's just stopping my units from taking all kinds of damage, and she is absolutely spectacular at what she does. Okay. Finally, I'll talk about the assist here. Okay. I have the Adrione assist on here. Foes strength and endurance minus 10%. So while I am buffing up all my other units' strength, the best thing to do is then to debuff everybody else's strength and endurance, which means they just take more damage. A debuffer that debuffs dexterity, or I'm sorry, not dexterity, agility would be wonderful. You want to debuff your enemy's agility. Unfortunately, I don't have a good assist that does that. So this is the next best thing. She'll nullify ailments, poisons, taunts, sleeps, things like that. She'll nullify twice. Okay. I have another assist that will also do that. So basically what I've got is if she's the first one that goes down. She and Osvi are the first units to go down. Then in come my next unit with that other 2 times nullification. If we happen to get 4 null attacks, 4 I mean, okay, so 3 come in before she dies. Yes, we're getting that 1 ailment, but odds of that are extremely slim. You've just got to run like an all ailment team for that to really happen. Um, there are people that do. There are a lot of high end units that do. This team is all about just producing damage and protecting our damage producers. That's what I've chosen. Like I said, I could go even more attack by adding that other assist on there. Now, there are other types of teams you could build. Like I said, you could build that team that does nothing but poison, sleep, and all that stuff. The ailment teams are insane, and they're hard to defeat. This is kind of my first line of defense against that. Now, if I really wanted to get nuts, unfortunately, she doesn't stack, but I could put her on a unit that's deliberately squishy, let that unit die, and then when she leaves, then this unit comes in, and she's got the same basic thing. Actually, I'd do it the other way around. I'd put her on a squishy unit, and then let that happen. But see, null ailments times 2, dex and endurance plus 15, so yeah. You see what I'm talking about here. So that is definitely there to prevent me from taking too much damage in this event. Now, I do need to talk about what to do here on the end. I do have my free-to-play Argonaut there, and I think I am going to replace him if I am honest. Because I just, and I mean just MLB'd this guy right here, this Otaro. Okay? So strength 1280, that Argonaut has 1385. So Argonaut's still better, but if I can actually start doing my Hero Ascension on Otaro, he will outlast him by a country mile. So 913 agility, I'm pretty sure if I start putting Hero Ascension into him, he'll do even better. It'll be nuts. I also have my Thunder Osvi on here. I could use her. I could definitely use her, but my Argonaut Bell is completely limit broken and completely Hero Ascended. So I'm going to keep him on here for now. His strength is off the chain. He's not going to die. He'll last forever. I could even put this +3 assist on him and just trust he's going to do his job. So Hero Ascension is critical. Absolutely critical. So make sure you're doing all of that. But that's how you kind of build a Wargames team. Now, like I said, there's different ways to build a team. My team is built to have a couple main hitters and then to protect those hitters. It is what I would call like kind of a balanced team, so to speak, because it has, you know, a specific purpose. Because look at that. They haven't even buffed themselves, and they're already doing like, you know, half the team's worth of damage in one shot. So you can't even see the units for how much just crazy debuffs we've got on them. So yeah, they're dead. And I expect it's probably going to be almost like that until I get up to, I'm going to guess, Hero 3. I'm going to guess Hero 3 is when it's going to start going maybe 3 turns. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Hero 3. King 3. I would love to get up to Hero 3. My goal is Hero 3, but we'll see. I'm going to have to tweak my teams a little bit, and I may have to do more Hero Ascension. I got my ranks messed up here. But, yeah. King 3, I think, is where they're going to start going 2 and 3 turns. But I am shooting for Hero 3 this time. That is my definite goal. Has been my goal for a long time, and I really think with a few more tweaks and a little bit more, I guess, defense from Chloe, I think we can make it. So this team did extremely well against teams that I really thought outclassed it in Familia Wargames. So we're going to continue on. I'm going to keep, adjusting things as I see fit. But that's kind of Wargames, guys. Make sure that you are definitely preparing for this event because, as I said, I've got two main hitters, and the big thing with them is that they're going to keep all buffs and debuffs in play. See, I'm taking a little bit of damage here, and I don't like that. So I'm going to need to go tweak stuff a little bit because they're clearly not doing what they are supposed to. So I don't like the looks of that. Do not like the looks of that at all. Let's see how that team was assembled. Because sometimes, too, when you are down this low, your tempted to think that, yeah, see, that team is definitely not that scrub level. Okay, I'm not so worried anymore. So you do need to pay close attention to how teams are being assembled and who you're up against. And the one big thing to pay attention to here, to know kind of what the best units are and the best way to approach everything. So if we go in here and we go to popular unit, okay? Krauser and Argonaut are absolutely at the tippy top. Illumina's up there too, but Illumina is great. The biggest thing she does is poison. So know you're going to get poisoned frequently. And most everybody has gone strength. That's kind of to be expected. I'm sorry, I say strength. Physical attacks. That's kind of to be expected. I do think at some point with the new meta that magic is going to start counteracting this. So we want to start preparing for that, but I feel like something flew in my nose. Ugh. It's an awful feeling. Anyway. Yeah, that's how you want to start thinking about this. Pay attention to what's up here. Pay attention to all that. Another thing you can do is go into assists and really pay close attention to the assists. Said Orna and Adriana are number 1. Apollo is great, but I wish I had him, and I don't. Chloe is up here too, so you start to really see Artemis. She's really awesome as well. So you start to really see what you need to do as far as preparations for all this go. So pay attention to this. Pay attention to, I guess you could say, the War Games meta. Are people doing more strength? Are people doing more magic? If you do build a magic team, I will tell you right now, you will probably clean house. Because magic is something that people are kind of still ignoring, even though we know the new meta is favoring magic at the moment. So, food for thought. Anyway, I told you how to beat my team. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow my Birdman. Hit me up on Booker. I'm going to go figure out what the heck is flying around my face. It's super annoying. I think it's a mosquito, but really just a creepy feel. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's a basement. It has basement things. Bye.